Combat Comrades! What's going on, guys? It's Dave here from the Combat Comrades. A little bit of a change of scenery this episode. We had some scheduling issues at the studio, so I'll be doing this one solo for the recap of UFC 317. What a banger of a card. Ilia Topuria, I told you he was going to knock Charles out. Plenty of things to talk about. We'll save that for a little bit a little bit later, but we're going to work our way basically from the bottom of the card all the way to the top. So cutting right to the chase, we've got Denise versus Hines, the first fight of the night. Man, did this set up the event to be beautiful. They came out swinging crazy pace from the start. The left hand from Denise causing big problems. But then he started to fatigue throughout the round. Hines turned the tide, started getting some big shots. The damage from Denise was too much in the end. And he took it to the unanimous decision, and it was a fucking banger of a fight to start the card. So both of those fellas, well done. After that, we've got T-Rex, Terrence McKinney versus Cabbage Soup, Wardashev, Johnny's pick. Well, he did say T-Rex was either going to die or rise in the first minute, and boy, that boy rose to the occasion, securing the sub super early. Was fucking sick. Well done, Terrence McKinney. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better performance from your fighter as his team. He went in there super aggressive, secured the choke, got the finish. There's really not much more you can say to that. It was fucking beautiful. Then Jacoby Smith versus Nico Price. Man, I said Nico was getting fed to the wolves here, guys. And you know what? He lasted a little bit longer than expected, and he did decent, to kind of survive for as long as he did. There's a lot of people on Twitter and all the rest of it saying that Jacoby got fraud checked. Don't see how that's possible. I mean, you won. You finished him. He was very dominant in the exchanges, in the grappling exchanges. And yeah, Jacoby Smith absolutely dominated. And you know what? I will say that Jacoby did gas, but I think that's credit to Nico. I think Nico came in ready. He didn't treat it as a donation or padding someone else's record, so props to him for that. Is Jacoby ready for the top 15? I don't think so. I think maybe he should, kind of coast around top 20, build up a little bit more. Maybe you could fight someone like Mike Malott. I think that'd be exciting. But bright future ahead for Jacoby, so fucking let's go Jacoby. And then we went to Tracy Cortez and Viviane Ahadro. I don't know, John would be here to tell me how to pronounce that one better, but you're going to have to deal with my pronunciation for this one. It was basically Mexican grappling versus Brazilian grappling, and, a lot of people come at me for this, but judging by that fight, it was that Mexican wrestling that proved to be more superior, huh? Who would have fucking thought? And did anyone else hear commentators? They were saying that there was some sort of wetting agent or lubricant or something on Cortez's gloves. Not quite sure what the fuck they were going on about, but please tell me in the comments if you know what the hell was going on there, because I have no idea. Moving along, RoboCop versus Jack the Joker Hermanson. Oh my days. Shadow Realm is the first words that come into my mind when I think of this fight. It was absolutely crazy from RoboCop. Decimated the Joker. He made cut easy. He made wear damage pretty intense. But this man's got bombs in his hands. Absolute machine. He leaves openings. His head's kind of on the center line. But this risk paid off, and he clipped him with a beautiful two-piece. That follow-up was a bit fucking brutal. A lot of people calling him a dog or a cheap shot, and Herb Dean as the ref is always on the other side of the octagon when these things happen. But you can come at Herb for not, for not getting there quick enough, but also RoboCop should have seen that, shout out to the CTE Society, the fucking corpse guard from, the Joker. It was fucking brutal, but as a fight fan, it was sick. I think RoboCop, he gets a lot of shit, obviously because of the way he fights and the damage he wears. But hey, his style paid dividends. That risk he took really, really paid off. I hope Hanson's okay. The broadcast team kind of kept everyone updated throughout the event. He eventually got, he was allowed to leave. He's allowed to go back to his hotel, rest up, and head home. But brutal way to go back home. So shout out to both those guys for producing a holy fucking shit moment, as Daddy Dana would call it. Now, moving along. Felipe Lima versus Talbot. Oh, baby. I said this was a make or break fight for Talbot. His last fight, the term fraud check, gets said a lot. But that was getting flown around. A lot of people were saying, is he as good as people say he is? Exposed, blah, blah, blah. Well, those fucking doubts have been silenced. The improvement that this guy made in such a short amount of time, beautiful counter wrestling, beautiful grappling exchanges, his methodology, and just his whole technique as a whole was chef's kiss. Fucking loved to see it. And you know who else loved to see it? He loved to see it. You could see he was smiling when he obviously was drilling these things. And they say drillers make killers. You're in the gym, you do it all the time. All the hard work happens in the gym. And you could see the look on his face that he was like, I fucking did it. And I love that for him. It was, it was leaps and bounds ahead of his last performance. To be honest, I think majority of the fight was pretty flawless. Yeah, beautiful striking, the freaking spinning heel kick, him defending that spinning back fist every time. I mean, he's a real deal in my opinion. I think he's got a bright future ahead. He's super young. He's learning on the job. Shout out to fucking Talbot, man. It was sick. And he's called out Cody Garbrandt, which is it's an interesting call out. I think it'll be a good fight. I think it's a good fight for Talbot at a good time in Colby, in old mate, what's his name, buddy? Cody. Sorry, in Cody Garbrandt's career, I think it's good for Talbot to get in and amongst it. It's exciting. And then Manny Moicano versus Benny Dariush. What a letdown from Moicano. Started off decent, had some interesting exchanges, clips him hard at the end of the first round. Really looked like he was going to, end that fight, wasn't going to go to the judges. Moicano went onto that stool, and then decided that all his training, all his knowledge, all his cardio, everything went out the fucking window. And it was crazy to see, he was so emotional in the press conference, talking about how he only loses to the best of the best of the best. And to be fair, Dariush's performance wasn't great. So he lost to a, underwhelming Dariush, which, I think paints a pretty brutal picture for Moicano. And man, don't get me wrong, Benny got the dub. You love to see it, All my homies love Benny. But as far as like skill for skill and like trajectory of career, they're both old, 36 years old. It's old for a fighter. It's an interesting kind of turning point now. Don't really know where any of them go from here, considering again it was pretty lackluster. And yeah, I just think the pressure of Benny was too much for Moicano. It took his cardio out, took the wind out of his sails, and yeah, he got the dub. So we will now move on. The people's main event, baby. What a fight. Dare I say, fight of the year. Dare I say, top 10 fights of all time in the octagon. Most definitely, from recent memory, the best fight in that division as a whole, Joshua Van, Myanmar's own, versus Brendan Royval. Holy fuck, where do you even start with this fight? If you want to get anyone into the beautiful sport of mixed martial arts, you show them that fight, and that's all you need to do. You show them that, sit him down, the rest is history. From the start, Van on point, patient, calculated. Like in the breakdown that I had, he's just the maturity of a fighter and the ability to, get in, get out, pick his shots and set his traps. And if something doesn't work, he'll just reset. He's not putting himself into too many dangerous positions willingly, especially in those earlier rounds when he's nice and fresh. Man, I fucking wish this fight went 5 rounds. Honestly, the fact that it was a title eliminator, it was Brendan Royval, who is the number 1 contender. This crazy turn of events of this fight coming into fruition, and it got put on the main card, mind you. This was going to be a prelim fight when it was Carpe, or Cup, whatever his damn name is, the annoying prick. It was just fucking, it was meant to be, Josh Van's time. And shout out to Royval too, because this fight had everything. It was back and forth. It was crazy exchanges, power, kind of punch for punch at one point, We can go bun for bun. Fuck it. We can go hook for hook. It was sick. And yeah, as a striking enthusiast, I fucking loved it. The angles, the ability to stick and move from Van, world class. This kid is fucking 23, 22, 23. 23, ranked 12. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. That motherfucker's ranked 1 now. So, holy hell. Loved it. And it's not all about Josh Van, though, because it takes 2 to tango to get a fight of that caliber, that impressive, that explosive, that memorable. Both of them have to be doing it, And Royval is a dog. He took a huge risk taking this fight. He displayed his great striking, his fearless aggression. And you know what? I have said for a while, there's something about Royval that I don't like and I don't get it. And it's true. I don't understand what it is. There was something about him. That's gone. That's gone. From the press conference, from everything from fight week to how he fought and everything in between. I take it back, Royval. I apologize. You are a motherfucker, dude. And you deserve all the respect that you aren't getting. And it's all love from my end, brother. You are a beast. But unfortunately, I think the power and the speed and just the angles and not being scared as well. The commentators made a very interesting point of a lot of people get intimidated by Brendan Royval when they're in front of him because he's a world-class fighter. He's ranked number 1. He's been in the octagon with the best of the best. He's got those reps in. I always talk about the level of competition that a fighter faces, which kind of gives them that competitive advantage. Royval's got that, and even though he lost the fight, I don't think he lost the fight, if you know what I mean. I think both of them come out a winner. Obviously, on paper, my boy Josh Van, who I've been fucking riding that bloody hype train since he came to the UFC. I'm not going to be one of those people that's I've been watching him since fucking, in the Myanmar friggin' public bloody regional circuit. Absolutely haven't. But since he's been in the UFC, I've loved it. Fucking oath. Can't talk about it enough. Fight of the night. Fight of the year. Hall of Fame. Give him a Hall of Fame induction. It was fucking sick. And now moving on to Kai Kara-France versus Alejandro Pantoja. Well, it went the way we all thought it was going to go, didn't it? Pantoja is the champion for a reason. This victory has now given him the accolades of officially being the division's GOAT. He's taken over my division GOAT, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. But now he's got the accolades to prove that he's the real deal, which is fucking cool. His ability to disarm Kai Kara. He knew Kai Kara had the power advantage most likely. He's one of the only people in the division that can really fucking shut the lights out in the way that he does. So obviously that would have been a big focus um of this fight camp. Disarm the power, which is what do? Take him to the ground. You don't have your best power when you're getting smothered and you have no ability to really move and get into your rhythm. Which was it was devastating for Kai Kai. It was devastating for us at Anzac. Even though I didn't think Kai was going to win, it would have been really cool for him to win, and I would have loved it. But he was just smothered. By the third round, he's so exhausted. He's and defeated really. And Pantoja also showed that he was kind of getting a bit exhausted too. He's getting older now. He's been doing this for a while. But then his muscle memory kicks in. He's been rolling and wrestling and, just fighting at such a high level for so long, it becomes second nature. So yeah, it was, after the Josh Van and Brennan Royval fight, it's hard to top that as far as energy, crowd reception, and all the rest of it. But when Pantoja won, they bring out Josh Van. And they do the face-off, WWE style. I don't know if I like that. I think it's kind of a bit cheesy in a way. I don't know. Do you guys like it? I guess it kind of builds hype, I guess, but they were very respectful as well. It was a lot different to the Ilya Paddy face-off, but we'll get to that. But in regards to that, so now we've got, which you would think, it was a number one contender fight. It has to be. It has to be, but we've got Josh Van versus Pantoja. Now, Josh Van's probably going to be suspended for quite some time, maybe 6 months. So that gives him some time to recover. He's going to be riding the high of this win. He has to be. Let the man go have a beer and celebrate with the boys. Fuck's sake. You deserve it, bro. But also, you don't want to stop the momentum, so I get it. But the point I'm trying to make is there enough time to really get a good game plan for someone like Pantoja? You can see, his way of dealing with Kai Kara, who's a heavy hands, power puncher, and kind of pick, notes from this performance and try and find your openings and what went wrong for Kai. What did you do that was right? But yeah, it's a fucking brutal step up in competition. I wasn't the one who really jumped on the whole big step up in competition for Van Royval, which, whether that was dumb or not, Van won. But I will kind of touch on that with Pantoja, because the difference in just overall package of a fighter between Pantoja and Royval is quite substantial, and it's fucking scary, but look what Van did. Look what Van did to bloody Royval. So I hope he's ready to wrestle for his life and fucking takes this belt, man. I really hope he does. Josh Van, baby. Fucking love you, dude. And I can't wait. I can't wait to win, loss, or draw. I am excited to see this guy fight. He's young, big career ahead of him, respectful, dangerous, patient, calculated, loving life, full of youth, full of life. To think this kid's fucking 9 years away from his prime is honestly terrifying. I feel bad for anyone that has to fight a prime Van, because it's it's looking pretty fucking sick for the future. And now, the main event. Ilya Topuria versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Can't say I'm surprised, guys. I know it's, I saw 4 people drop to their knees in a Macca's. The world is a little bit darker today for most, but did you really think Charles was going to beat Ilya? Honest question. Come on. Or do you just think, fuck, I want to see Ilya lose? Because after he knocked out Volk, man, I wanted to see that motherfucker lose. And he knocks out Max. And when he knocked out Max, I'm like, okay, this guy's fucking sick. All right. You have to kind of swallow your pride. Are you a fan of fighting or are you a fan of the fighter? Because if you're a fan of fighting, how can you hate? Yeah, he can be a bit of a wanker. All right. He's a bit of a, tough pill to swallow in his interviews, in his, videos, whatever. But as a fighter, this man's the best boxer in the UFC. Who's better? Who's better? Don't fucking say Pereira. Don't say that. As far as clean, effective, powerful, crisp, just poetic in nature, Ilya's the best boxer. And if you don't think that, it is what it is. I'm just here to give you my opinion, and you're listening to it. Now, before we get into the fight, Ilya has been doing judo since 4 years old, wrestling since 7 years old, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since he was 15 years old. He's got 8 subs and now 7 KOs. I think this guy's probably got the hardest pound for pound punch. Which, side note, we need to study Josh Emmett's fucking chin, because Josh Emmett copped these punches and didn't get done as bad as all our goats. So shout out Josh Emmett, you got a fucking granite chin, buddy. He also, Ilya speaks 3 languages. He's a family man. He's got all the confidence. He backs it up every time. This is like what we wanted McGregor to be. Yeah, okay. Pause. McGregor is the best entertainer. His ability to paint a picture and talk shit is second to none, pound for pound, best shit talker in the whole of entertainment, I would say. And I guarantee some people will be, Muhammad Ali, bro, fuck off, all right? I'm talking about, now, not when it was black and white TV. But back on Ilya, he's got all the components to just be a fucking superstar, He defends the belt a few times. What if he goes up? I had someone on our TikTok actually follow us on Combat Comrades Pod on all social media, but TikTok has just come out, so get on that. I'll be posting a little bit more frequently, kind of clips from the pod and clips from fights and all that stuff, so get on board. But I put on TikTok, I said, is Ilya a future GOAT? Yes or no? And I'm just going to open it up now on my phone, and let's just have a look here at what the people of TikTok said about Ilya potentially being the GOAT. And we have 98 votes yes, 20 votes no. And we've got a few people here. When he gets that 3rd belt, it'll be set in stone. Come on now. 3rd belt. And when he gets the 3rd belt, what are you going to say? Once he gets that 4th belt, bro. Once he gets that 4th belt. I mean, the MMA community as a whole moves the goalposts. Just like the Ilya haters. Oh, he knocked out Volk, but he's not going to knock out Max. He's not that good. Knocks out Max. Oh, I mean, he knocked out Max, but he hasn't fought a real 155er. Fucking knocks out Oliveira. Rest in peace. And now people are saying, oh, he's not going to beat Islam. What if he beats Islam? Then what? You want him to fight fucking Tom Aspinall? Come on. This guy's the real deal. And we need to kind of just accept it and enjoy it. It's going to be one of those things where we're going to see a nice career, a great run, and then we'll all be able to say, how good was that? Because I don't know how long people have been watching the UFC out of the people that watch this podcast or listen to this podcast. But there's been times where it's been a bit fucking boring. Boring champions. And just no one that brings the ruckus like Ilya, to just, I'm going to knock you out in the first round. Bang, does it. This is Mystic Mac type shit. Except he's not going to go and box someone yet, you know. He's going to keep fighting in the UFC, and we fucking love to see it. Now, it was very quick, so there's really not much to talk about in regards to the fight. I don't think really there was any point of where Charles looked like he was going to finish or do anything. You know, the way Ilya fights is he usually has to chase these people down. You know, he knocked out Volkanovski chasing him down. Oliveira the whole time was saying, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to put the pressure on you. I'm the lion. This is my division. Ilya loved it. Move forward to me. Come into my range. Allow me to do my best work without having to chase it. Because when Ilya is standing there tight, he doesn't have to walk around and, you know, be in a vulnerable position and start moving and swinging. No, he's standing there. You move close to him. Bink, bink. It's over. And I mean, Charles was knocked out from the first punch. And then I'm pretty sure he fucking smacked his face on his knee when he was coming down as well. So the cunt got a 2-piece from Ilya and then got the dessert from his own knee. So, ow. Couple of Nurophens and a Panadol this morning for sure. Now, to discuss the elephant in the room, what's next with Charles? There's not really a title shot happening anytime soon. If ever again, if Ilya's in there. If he doesn't move up to chase Islam, I guess. I mean, he's going to need to rebuild. So he got absolutely decimated. Cry about it. So he's going to need to come back mid next year. Rebuild a bit. Who does he fight? I don't think it's anyone that's in the title contention. You know, I think he needs an exciting fight with a fan favorite. That's a winnable fight, you know. And you know who I think would be to kind of fit all that criteria with still, you know, providing danger? It's the one and only Dan the Hangman Hooker. I think that would be a sick fight. A sick fight. Dan, you know, we all love him. He's a brawler. He fights to fight. You know, he's one of the only guys that gets the shit kicked out of him and says he fucking loves it. And I love him for that. So I think it'll be a huge confidence booster for either of them, no matter who wins. The fans are going to fucking love it. I will love it. Why not? So you let me know. You let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's really it, guys. I mean, there's no UFC next week. We have a week off. So it's going to be a big week of us brainstorming and trying out some things for the episodes, right? So we do like I said, a lot of things on TikTok. We're going to try and work with some animations of kind of the bullshit that we talk about in the potty that's quite funny, to kind of bring a visual aspect to it. And it's hard to keep retention. Hard to keep retention on social media. So we're going to have short, sweet clips on the socials and the longer form stuff on your Spotify and your YouTube and all that. So, you know, all the criticism, critique, and opinions are welcome. Once you guys stop being shy and want to get in the comments, even if it's to say, shut the fuck up. I want to hear it. I want to hear your opinion, your thoughts. And yeah, until next time, guys. Combat comrades!